So we are putting hydraulic assist steering on the Cherokee so we can put the tracks back on it. Well, it runs. You done yet? You done yet? Or are we gonna break it first?
I didn't even think I tightened all the bolts.
Well, let's drive it and see what ones are loose.
Yes, I welded it before I checked clearance.
That's how I do it too, so. So does it clear? It does. All right, out of the way. Yeah. Good. All right, so we have a 6-inch ram in here, and this tie rod has slightly over 6 inches of travel from lock to lock. So the ram is bottoming out just before the steering box does, which is perfect because the steering box bottomed out and this ram was pushing on it farther. Then you get into being hard on stuff, but this works out great. And when the ram bottoms out and the steering box tries to keep going, the good thing is there's so much play and all these suspension bushings are all worn out that everything just moves around anyway and takes up the slack, so no big deal. Hey Jordan, how come you're working on this thing now instead of that car that you did have in here?
I ordered the wrong parts like an idiot. Apparently the left front lower control arm won't fit on the right side.
What are you doing now? Fixing it like the Fonz?
The blower motor doesn't work, so I gotta...
No, it's still not working. You gotta hit it harder. You can't cuss on my YouTube. Actually, you can, just people get mad.
These little grabber stabbers work pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Kicks right on.
Okay, need a wiring diagram.
The good thing about Jordan's toolbox, there's always snacks nearby.
Yeah, 'cause I'm fat.
I'm stealing your candy.
How dare you?
Mine now. Okay, we played around with it a bit on the lift of lifting sides up and down and all that to check for our clearances, and found that our biggest clearance issue would be turned to the driver's side with the driver's side wheel stuffed and the passenger side drooped. We couldn't get quite what we wanted on the lift, so I brought it out here to the levee, and you can see it's flexed out more than it ever will be with the tracks on it. And this was one thing we were worried about. Ton of room there. The other is the track bar here to the ram. That clears just fine. All of our hoses, everything's clearing, so it looks like this is gonna work. Alright, well that was way too easy. I ordered a fancy hydro assist kit that was like everything you needed, like $1,000, all bolt on, all that, and weeks went by, it never showed up, and then all of a sudden I got an email saying that it was now all of a sudden back ordered till the end of January, which obviously doesn't work for me. So I mentioned that to Nate, and he says bring your Jeep here tomorrow. So I did, and he used what he had there, and he made a hydro assist kit in like 3 hours worth of work. So that quick, brought it in, done, headed back home, throw the tracks back on it, and then we'll go take it for a test drive. Not like in the snow, I wish, but don't have time to do that today unless somebody gets stuck and calls. But we will go try it out around the ranch and see how it does. All right, we got the back tracks bolted on the Jeep. I took the wheel spacers off. I'm not sure if I need them. I pulled them off. They're actually, it's really close in there, so I'm gonna have to go drive around and see. I might have to put them back on. That would suck if I do, but you can see this time we changed up a little bit. Instead of stacking a whole bunch of wood blocks on top of each other to get the height we need to bolt these tracks on, we're using the 911 Motorsports Harbor Freight jack extension. Hold on. Much better. So now not only do I have the reach to lift this thing high enough to put the tracks on, it also still goes down low enough to get under that rear diff with the tires on. So I don't have to drive up on blocks or do anything goofy. I can roll this right under the rear diff with the tires on and lift it high enough to put the tracks on all in one shot. No blocks, nothing sketchy. And I know a lot of people said you got to put jack stands in here when you're doing this, but you can't set it on jack stands when you're putting the tracks on, because you can't lift the tracks up and down to put on the hub like a tire, so you have to raise the Jeep up and down. So jack stands don't work, but this makes it way safer and is way nicer. So this jack extension that they build for the Harbor Freight jacks and a few other jacks as well, simply screws right into the top plate, right where the normal, let me speed this up. There we go. You didn't want to watch all that anyway. But this simply screws into the same top plate that the normal pad that came on the jack does. You just place this washer over it to take up the space. Screw your new plug back on. Again, I'll speed this up. They're fine threads. They take a while. Then you take and drop your extension piece on and your top cap. But what if you need more reach than that? Well, you simply take this one off, put the longer one on, put your top cap back on this one instead. Now you got even more reach. Well, what if you really want to get crazy? Well, take this off, put this on, put that on top. Look at that. You need to jack up a vehicle by the bumper or the hitch or something like that to unload the suspension, maybe to change springs, anything like that. You've got all the reach you could ever need. Now keep in mind, this is a lever that now you're putting on the jack. So you need to make sure that you're lifting straight up and down, not putting a big side load on it, anything like that, because obviously it'd make it easy to tip over or rip the base out of the jack now that you have this big lever on it. But every jack manufacturer out there is going to say that they're only designed to lift straight up and straight down anyway. So if you ever do anything that causes this to tip over or break the jack because you put a big old huge side load on it, you're already doing something you weren't supposed to be doing with the jack. So just don't do that and you're good. But Casey, what if I want to use my jack to get under a low car? Now it's too tall. No. In that case, you just take everything off, set it on the ground, take your top cap off, put it right back on the base, and now your jack is back to, come on, the same nice and low jack it was before. Pretty nifty. So like I said, these are made by 911 Motorsports right here in Bend, Oregon. This isn't any sort of a sponsorship, affiliate deal, anything like that. Just a friend of mine, a really good dude who makes these here locally, and it's a great product that makes these jacks way safer. So go check them out, 911 Motorsports. I'll put a link down in the description below, and you can go check it out. And say if you go buy something there, put in the order come something that you heard about it from me. I don't get any sort of kickback or affiliate deal or anything like that. It'd just be cool to kind of track it. And since you know how much I love to destroy stuff, Casey, who builds these, yes, his name is also Casey, so you know he's a cool dude. He likes to destroy stuff too. So in an upcoming video, when we can get our two schedules to line up just right, we're going to take a bunch of these different jacks, a bunch of these different pieces of the product they make, and we're going to destroy them. We're going to try to pry them off of here and rip the whole base of the jack apart. We're going to put so much pressure on them in a big press that the jack blows apart. We're going to put them under a vehicle and try to drive through the parking lot and see what happens. We're just going to, a day of carnage at Casey's shop. Not this Casey's shop, that Casey's shop. Couldn't even see that, could you? Oh, that's horrible. We're going to put these things to the test to the point of failure. 1, for science. 2, because we know you guys would like to see it. So that's coming. All right, that is an amazing difference. Sitting still on that concrete floor of the shop, I could literally take one finger on the wheel and just turn the tracks back and forth, which you're not supposed to do unless you're moving, but it does it. So to check clearance on the that back spring is one I'm most worried about. My back axle isn't exactly centered with this cheap lift that's on it, so one side is closer than the other. So I drove up onto Horse Poop Mountain here, that's what my daughter calls it, to compress that spring and lean the body over that way. We're gonna see if it clears or not. Nope, not even close. Dang it. That sucks. I was hoping it would clear without the spacers, no problem, because then it would be way easier to get it on the trailer. With the spacers on it, you have like a ½ inch on your side. It's a total pain, but looks like we got to go put them back on. All right, we got the wheel spacers back on the Jeep, got the tracks back on again, and now we're going to try loading on the trailer again, which is a total pain. So I was really hoping it would fit without the wheel spacers, but not enough clearance. If the axle was like 1 inch wider, it'd be golden. So basically I rub the fender on this side, I should be almost rubbing the fender on the other side. And then we basically just go all the way to the very front of the trailer. This trailer's so stupid short axled that you got to put the weight as hard as you can up on the tongue, and then it drives kind of halfway decent. All right, let's tie it down. All right, right up on the fender on this side, right on the fender on that side. Just barely fits. Okay, I get it tied down and then parked back in its spot right here, and this thing will be loaded up and ready to roll. Oh, I should probably take the wheel chocks off the top and put them back in the truck, since they don't kind of need to chalk wheels anymore on the Jeep. That'd be good. So it is Friday afternoon, and this is the first weekend everyone's had since all the big snow we got and all the fresh powder up in the hills. So hopefully that means this thing gets to go out and play this weekend, because I'm really looking forward to it now. And huge thank you to Nate at Elite Fleet Automotive for getting this set up. Like I said, I ordered the hydro steer kit. It was in stock, then it never showed up. Now it's back ordered. I mentioned it to Nate. He said, have your Jeep here in the morning. And we have hydro steer. The only thing I had to do was go and get some hydraulic lines made up for the length we needed. Other than that, he knocked it out in, like I said, probably 3 hours worth of work. So for him to fit that in with as busy as they are and make it happen before the weekend, awesome. Huge, huge thank you. So now I'm going to get this unhooked here, and then hopefully the phone rings real soon. But that is going to be it for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.